Hello, intellectual students and educators. My name is Will Harvey, and this is Crash Course World History. Let's go! Today we're going to talk about the Nazis. Not only are we going to delve into the horrors that Nazi Germany and the Japanese inflicted upon societies and innocent victims, but also the progress that they caused due to major strides that they took towards science, weaponry, and intelligence. Mr. Harvey, wasn't Albert Einstein a German scientist? Good God, me from the future, you should know this. Albert Einstein was German, but left Germany years before World War II even began. But what we're really going to be questioning today is, did exploration of science across all fields performed by the Nazis help progress science after World War II? Before we get into human and technological experiments, we should talk a little bit about the Holocaust first. The Holocaust was the genocide of Jews, gypsies, homosexuals, mentally and physically disabled, and quite a few other groups of people. Approximately 11 million people were killed during the Holocaust. Not to mention the millions who were killed fighting to save these victims. Alright, let's talk about weaponry. First of all, let's talk about the V-1 bomb. This was one of the first pulse jet engine powered bombs. The engine was lighter weight and less expensive for the inventors at the Peenemünde Army Research Center in Germany to create. Two engineers, Fritz Blausow and Robert Lusser, who brought the design into construction, did not come up with the original idea. They just refined and improved the ideas of Paul Schmidt by adding a pulse jet engine and a sleeker, more aerodynamic outer shell. The advantages to this new type of engine are, for one, they were fairly easy to construct because there were few moving parts. Two, they have incredible thrust, which meant that they could quickly gain velocity. And three, they can use just about any type of material that burns. This opened up the floodgates of alternative fuel sources like biodiesel, bioalcohol, even vegetable oil. The V-1 bombers were an extreme success after the slow-moving start, and were deployed by the hundreds in the summer of 1944, only a few short years after the bomber had even come into existence. Unfortunately for Hitler and the Nazis, they would need a lot more of these bombers to save them from their eventual demise in 1945. But, on the bright side, V-1 bombers helped to bring us characters like Fillmore from the movie Cars, who is extremely fond of alternative fuels. And where would we be without the heart-touching love story and knee-slapping comedy in the movie Pixar's Cars? The Japanese also created some pretty crazy weapons during World War II. One thing they did was they crossed an aircraft carrier with a submarine. Wait, what? How does that even work, and why have I never thought of that? Yeah, well, from the future, the I-400 class submarine is the name, quick tactical strikes is the game. The I-400 held up to 3 small steep planes inside of it, and these planes could launch up to 45 minutes after surfacing. These planes were pretty small, and they couldn't hold a huge payload. These planes and submarine were perfect for tactical strikes. They go in, hit the enemy, and leave super fast before they even realize what hit them. The initial production line was supposed to be 18, but had to be scaled back to 3. Talk about limited edition. Come to think of it, one of these subs was found in December of 2013 off the coast of Hawaii. Well, during post-World War II combat, these submarines that could stay up to months were developed. These submarines carried nuclear warheads on them, and these were the submarines that were used during the Cold War. The use of these subs during the Cold War was basically cat and mouse games with the Soviets. These cat and mouse games kept the Soviets at bay, so we didn't erupt into a full-on nuclear war with the U.S. Alright, now let's talk about the medical experiments that happened on humans during World War II. The Nazis tested on the prisoners that they had in the concentration camps. Human experiments, but the worst 7 were freezing experiments, twin experiments, tuberculosis, experiments involving phosphine gas, transplant experiments, seawater, freezing. The Nazis submerged the victim under ice water for up to 5 hours in order to find a way to help German soldiers go into icy ocean water and be okay. Twins. The Germans experimented on twins in order to find a way to quickly multiply the German births and to learn the secrets of these multiple births. They killed over 1,000 pairs of twins. Tuberculosis. The Germans tried to find a natural immunity to tuberculosis so they could manufacture a vaccine for the virus. They killed about 200 people in this way. Phosphine gas experiments. The Nazis tested the phosphine gas to the prisoners in order to find an antidote to the gas. Thousands of prisoners died because. Transplant experiments. The Germans tried to figure out if they could transplant organs from one person's body to another. They tested this on many prisoners, and many of these transplants were rejected, killing many of the prisoners. Seawater. Germany forced prisoners to drink the seawater so they could find a way to make seawater potable. However, they didn't succeed and made many people very dehydrated and very sick. Even though these experiments were terrible and very gruesome, they still helped to develop our modern medical skills. These experiments helped us to develop many new medicines and vaccines to fight against diseases and wound infections. Also, here's a list of the things that they have benefited. Take a look. Blood transfusions, medical evaluation, better burn management, synthetic anti-malarials, and DDT. Talk about Operation Paperclip. I know what you guys are thinking. Why is he going to talk about a paperclip? Well, I'm not. Operation Paperclip happened during World War II, and it was when the United States went into Nazi Germany and removed Nazi scientists in order to use them for our own means on American soil. Operation Paperclip really helped us in a lot of ways. The U.S. mainly took Nazi scientists who were involved on the V-1 and V-2 bomber projects, but the United States also took scientists who specialized in chemical weapons, chemical reaction technology, and medicine. These were all people who the U.S. thought would be beneficial to post-war United States, proving that these scientists have positive impacts in all of their fields. As Linda Hunt says in her book, Secret Agenda, the United States Government, Nazi Scientists, and Project Paperclip, the legacy of Paperclip is said to be moon rockets, jet planes, and other scientific achievements that were a product of post-war research in this country. That's a lot of stuff that is extremely influential in today's society and was pioneered during Operation Paperclip post-World War II society. Even though us Americans want to take credit for all of these inventions as a whole, we can, as the Nazi scientists who came to the US under some shady circumstances actually helped us to create these things. Alright, let's move on to our open letter. This is going to be an open letter to Adolf Hitler. Wait, I know what you're thinking. This is going to go downhill fast. But hold up, yo. You're wrong. First, let's check what Jim left for us in the secret compartment. Secret compartment stuck together. Oh, look, a stormtrooper pen. Much better than a shop pen. Alright, dear Adolf Hitler, although you had some extremely immoral and unique ideas on what world you should be, you did have some pretty good taste in art, soldiers, and science. The scientists you hired/forced to work for you were some of the most ingenious people of their time, who had some very good ideas, and also that positively affected the entire world in the way it works today. Your contributions to science and innovation helped us create the ideas of space travel. That's pretty crazy. And through your use of your stormtroopers, you sort of helped create Star Wars. Best wishes, Will Harvey. It all up. The Germans and Japanese both had influence on post-World War II society through experimentation and inventions, no matter how much we don't want to admit it. The Nazi scientists who came to the US after World War II during Operation Paperclip helped us get to the moon. The human experimentation during World War II, as much as we don't want to say it, helped to advance medical science due to what sorts of medicine and new techniques became popular through these experiments. Although they were extremely inhumane and gruesome, they helped us to be where we are today. So all in all, the experimentation and scientists all across the board helped us to develop many things that we take for granted today, such as rockets and planes. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week. Next week, we're going to talk about dinosaurs. Dinosaurs. Get your time, Jim.
Yeah.